You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, it's been a while since I've done a Raiders video, but the timing of this is rather interesting because it involves somebody that Ohio State may covet a great deal when it comes to their coaching situation. Now, of course, yesterday, Ryan Day, Ohio State shit the bed to the Michigan Wolverines. Look, I'm a Michigan fan, but it's a down Wolverines team. It is. We lost a shit ton of guys to the NFL, and we lost what I consider to be a top 5 coach in all of football in Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers, who, by the way, he brought validity to the Chargers the minute he walked in the door, and look at their record right now. They're probably going to make the playoffs that quick, and who the hell's going to want to play them with Justin Herbert, that running game, and the way that defense is playing right now? It's going to be a tough out. I mean, that's a game plan savant they got, all right? Ryan Day shit the bed yesterday, and there are Raiders ties to this. Now, keep in mind, the Raiders just lost a really close, hard-fought game, 19-17, to the Kansas City Chiefs. I understand there's a lot of fans out there that are like, once again, the NFL refs are playing for the Chiefs. I mean, the memes out there of the referees wearing Chiefs gear is all over the place right now. But I want to tell you something about Mike Vrabel. The one thing is he understands the value of having a weapon like A.J. Brown. This, of course, is the infamous
that is a huge
scene of him getting up after A.J. Brown was traded by that lunatic John Robinson, the GM at the time. And Mike Vrabel was not happy about it. He was pissed. And it just so happens, from the day they made that trade, that was in April of 2022, he went 7-10 and 6-11. Now, I believe there was a direct correlation with losing one of the biggest and baddest weapons in all of the league, and that team going down the tubes and going downhill, okay? 2022, A.J. Brown had 88 receptions, 11 TDs. 2023, 106 and 7 TDs. By the way, 1,500 yards both seasons. Mike Vrabel, in case you're wondering, 9-7, 9-7, 11-5, 11-5. But this was the narrative after the game involving the Chiefs. You see this, Antonio Pierce got destroyed. Look, I thought you had to give him the job too. If you couldn't get Jim Harbaugh, I don't know that the Raiders ever made a serious run at Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he's a former Raider. He coached, and it just made all the sense in the world. But unfortunately, Adams, who's now gone, and Max Crosby, they wanted Antonio Pierce, and I think a lot like Gerard Mayo, Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo are position coaches. That's what they are. In 10 years, 10 years, who knows? But they no time as DCs. One could argue Antonio Pierce ran one of the greatest high school programs. He couldn't even win there. I mean, honestly. Eberflus, seeing Antonio Pierce in the unemployment line. Yeah, crazy world where Matt Eberflus and Antonio Pierce were head coaches this year, and Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel were left out. And, guys, it just continued from there. Seriously, you got some people out there saying that you got to keep Antonio Brown because he's black. Stop it. Stop it. Nobody could possibly rival Bears in bad late-game decisions. Antonio Pierce, watch this. I mean, wow. Antonio Pierce should have kicked the field goal, 15 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts. Too many things can happen. I agree with that. I mean, come on. Matt Eberflus, Antonio Pierce looking at each other. There's the Spider-Man meme. So what does this all have to do? Well, you see this right here. This was prior to the Friday game against the Chiefs. A couple of reports emerged, both involving Antonio Pierce's job. Diana Rossini. Rossini suggested Pierce could be on the hot seat at the end of the season, but it was her co-host, Chase Daniel, that said something more noteworthy. Quote, I would just imagine, especially since he's got 1 year left on his contract, It's not like the payout's really big to fire Pierce, Daniels said. I would be surprised if he kept his job. There's rumors he got a 2-year deal. That's nothing for a head coach. Everything I hear, they really like Telesco. Telesco has a good track record with drafting. All right, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, there's things to work with on the offense. They made a monumental mistake letting Josh Jacobs go. I'm going to say that. But you see this right here. Tom Brady will have a dominant voice with the Raiders organization. I can tell you right now, Tom Brady wants Mike Vrabel as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. According to Sports Illustrated insider Hondo Carpenter, a guy I listen to a lot, Tom Brady is going to have a loud voice, and as much as Mark Davis lets him, he could be the most dominant voice. I suspect that Mark Davis is going to let Tom Brady have the most dominant voice. Now, let's make it clear, if Tom Brady has a dominant voice, which I believe he will, I've been reporting it for over a year, then I absolutely need you to know it's because Mark Davis let him. He's not coming in and running roughshod over Mark. Well, he's also a minority owner now, so there's that. Carpenter believes former Titans head coach Mike Vrabel is in a strong position to be the next Raiders head coach if Antonio Pierce is not retained. If they move on from Antonio Pierce, I believe Mike Vrabel will be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I am in no way advocating for them to move on from Antonio at all. Let's be honest, it's not working. Cut bait. And I want to be clear, but I believe that if they move on from him, it will be Mike Vrabel. He has a great relationship with Tom Brady. They are very close, very close. The Patriots made a horrible decision, not pivoting off of Gerard Mayo and hiring Mike Vrabel, who fell right into their laps. He wanted the job. Vrabel knows what Tom wants, Carpenter continued. He knows what he wants the defense to do, but he already has Patrick Graham. Then the key is going to be when Mike Vrabel has the most success as a coach, it's when he has an absolute stud offensive coordinator. He had Arthur Smith for years. They won a lot of games. By the way, Arthur Smith doing a damn good job with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Funny how that works. Just some guys are just coordinators. We've talked about that before, and damn good ones. I mean, Norv Turner is a top 5 coordinator in the history of football, and he was very, very, very mediocre as a head football coach. It just is what it is. Josh McDaniels, too. All right? And what's odd about this is I would say Belichick would be in the running for this Raiders job because, look, him and Tom Brady get along a hell of a lot better. They're now co-hosting this Let's Go podcast together. I mean, Tom loves Bill. All right? That's something that the media's tried to play up, and they're both pretty tight. All right? Now, whether anybody understands that or not, I don't know. Maybe they weren't for a couple of years, but they're back to being pretty good, all right? But Josh McDaniels is coming with Bill wherever he goes, which I believe puts him heavily in play in Jacksonville. By the way, Doug Peterson not fired. You want to know why? Bill Belichick has let Shad Khan know, if you fire Doug Peterson during the season, I will not consider your head coaching job. I hate it when teams fire coaches during the year. Doug Peterson still got a job today, does he not? Everybody thought he would be fired 2 weeks ago. That means that the Bears may be in trouble on getting Belichick if that's who they were staring at right now. Notice Mike McCarthy's keeping his job. He may actually keep it beyond the year, but you get my point. There's a strange world now where the Cowboys actually end up winning 8 or 9 games. Tell me what you think. If Ohio State wants Mike Vrabel, they're going to have to act quick. It could not have gone worse for Ryan Day. It was a nightmare between the fights and the justification of the fight, losing the game to a 6-5 Michigan team, 4 straight losses, all of it. If you want Mike Vrabel, you're going to have to act quick. Outside of winning the Natty, Ryan Day's bleeped. He's super bleeped. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.